Let's move over to Solana and talk about what's going on in that ecosystem. As we covered yesterday, Solana's token price has been taking a beating. It's down 10% on the week. And then over the last month or so, it's down well over 30%. But that doesn't mean that there's not builders and developers who are still bullish on the market for Solana itself. It just means the token price is down, just like a lot of other tokens in token history. So yesterday what we saw was that Vitalik Buterin, who is the co-founder of Ethereum and one of the developers for the chain, actually tweeted support for Solana, saying that there has been a lot of washouts of the grifters within the Solana ecosystem, and that according to him, some smart people in his circle says that there is a future for Solana. This breathed a little bit more life into the price of Solana, which was pretty nice of Vitalik to do that. But I think just builders and developers within the Solana ecosystem appreciate another battle-hardened token developer coming to their side and helping them out. Sam, I want to throw the story over to you to get your take on it. Pretty interesting to see Vitalik come out here and tweet support for Solana.
Yeah, it's interesting because Solana has been propped up, like the story mentions, like we talk about a bunch here. It's been propped up as a big competitor, of course, to Ethereum, but it's also a very different ecosystem from Ethereum, not only because of the technology behind it. Oh, I guess my dog has entered the frame. He's excited for the new year too. So yeah, like it's a different ecosystem, not only because of the technology, but also because of the developer community, or lack thereof, it seems like in more recent weeks. But one of the things that Danny, one of our colleagues who's on the Hash a bunch, has reported on a bunch is that the concentrated control of that ecosystem by Alameda was not only by virtue of their, I think, 15% ownership stake in Solana, the asset, but they also controlled and pulled strings a bunch behind the scenes in a lot of those decentralized, quote unquote, products that were running on that ecosystem. So one of the things that I'm curious to see not only Solana, but also Ethereum contend with is the ability for these decentralized systems to perpetuate themselves in an opaque manner with power players behind the scenes, like an Alameda, like other entities that are out there, controlling a disproportionate stake. I mean, it's by no means, I guess I'm saying, exclusive to Solana, this issue, just because they're tied to SBF. Anyway, I'll pass it to you, Jen, to see what you got to say about all this.
Yeah, so for a really long time, people were speculative about Solana, right? When you looked at the token allocation. And I think now the people who, looked at Solana and said, is this actually decentralized? If we look at the token allocation, it doesn't actually look like it's decentralized. We're seeing that come to play. From Vitalik's tweet, I think, though, it is unfortunate that there are, developers, there are promising projects that have been building on Solana, that have been working with Solana, that now find themselves in maybe a little bit of a predicament. We spoke about 2 NFT projects that I think were responsible for 70% of the volume that was happening on Solana in recent time. I don't remember the time frame, who are now moving over to Ethereum and Polygon. And so I think it's unfortunate. There are some headlines that I saw this morning that said, Solana, Luna, and FTT are 3 of the tokens that are down the most this year. I think it's unfortunate that Solana is being grouped with FTT and Luna, given that there were no bad actors in the sense that there were with both FTT and Luna. I just feel like, some of this contagion, some of this interconnectedness, and the fact that it, wasn't truly decentralized, like so many chains, so many projects in this industry aren't. I feel sorry for them that they are being grouped with those 2 projects. Sam?
Yeah, one more thing that I forgot to mention before, that I do think bears noting is that even though there are tons of talented developers on Solana, like a lot of these other ecosystems, you have a lot of talented developers that continue, frankly, to work on Terra, even though that ecosystem was flawed. I think that the entire, Solana thing and, the Luna thing, and many other ecosystem, blowups is indicative of a wider problem within crypto, which is that even with talented devs, folks are willing to overlook those bigger picture, power issues or allocation issues, or just, I guess what I'm saying is, when we go into the next bull run, I'll be curious to see if developers are willing to work on projects that so clearly have these glaring flaws when VCs, specifically in the case of Solana, are willing to pour in enough money to make these projects profitable in terms of yields and returns in at least the short term. I hope to see that reflection, even if these people are talented. Jen, I saw you might have something else to add too.
Yeah, I was just looking at this tweet again, and I want to clarify that Vitalik said, some smart people tell me there's an earnest, smart developer community in Solana, and now that the awful opportunistic money people have been washed out, the chain has a bright future. So he said that some smart people have told him. He didn't outright say that he thinks that it's...
Come on,
I'm just saying, if we're going to get into semantics, I bet there are going to be people who come for us for not clarifying that, and so I'm just saying it.
Wow. Protecting the house, as Danny Nelson would put it. I think we should look into the L1 thesis really quickly before we go on to a different story, though, and just talk about that since we brought it up yesterday. The L1 thesis basically says that there's going to be multi-chains. There's going to be a lot of different chains that maybe work with each other, maybe not, but they're at the very least going to compete with each other. And Solana really came for Ethereum, trying to be an Ethereum killer. And that's why this tweet is notable, right? Because Vitalik built Ethereum over the years, and a lot of other chains are trying to take his crown. They're trying to take Ethereum's crown, Solana being one of those that really marketed itself as an Ethereum killer. And if you look at the token price, it's not doing so hot. Ethereum's also down about 75% from its peak, but it's over $1,000 per coin, and it's held up pretty well during a bear market, much better than other people thought. It also conducted the merge last year, so it's hitting on its narratives pretty well. Solana, on the other hand, down 95%, tied up with the SBF, FTX drama. Not really sure what a roadmap looks like going forward. I mean, we didn't have the Mango market story the other day, right? So there's lots of problems with Solana. So I think Vitalik coming out and saying something like this really bolsters the L1 thesis a little bit. At the very least, I would say that. There's some other chains out there I think are just going to completely flop. But to see something like this from Vitalik says, hey, maybe he's more of a multi-chain person than necessarily just an Ethereum maximalist.